going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Right now we are working on the Grand Prix, trying to get this water pump off. I was having some water pump leaking issues. I drove it to work, noticed that it was steaming out. It could be, I'm thinking it's the gasket, but I went ahead and ordered a new water pump. Got all new gaskets for it. I'm gonna keep the same divider that's in between the water pump. Right here there's a divider along with these two gaskets, because I mean, I'm gonna see what they look like. If I have to change it, then I have to change it. But I do have to, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to change this this housing gasket as well, which that's what I'm trying to get a good angle at it. But right here, I'm gonna have to change that out. So that's what I'm gonna be working on. I'm gonna change both the gaskets, get it all said and done with, and then we're gonna be taking it for a ride. I haven't done much video because drag season's been out and there's not much to do with the truck. We don't get no snow around here, so it's like I'm gonna get into the SUV thing. Right now it's drag season. Drag season's coming up, and I got to get this car fixed, and I finally got some availability to do more to the car, and that's what we're gonna be doing. So right now I'm just gonna move this bracket right here because it's gonna be in the way when we get the water pump. I've already removed the alternator off. Just trying to keep up with all my bolts at the same time. Like that bolt goes to the alternator. This bolt goes to hold on to the mount. Look how rusty that is. I'm gonna just clean that off. Alright, so I was able to get this water pump off, and I pulled that housing gasket. Now I'm trying to clean up all this right here. Well, not the housing gasket. I got down to it, and it was just this, I believe it's just this these paper gaskets on these water pumps are so, was so rotted. I believe that's what caused our water issue up here, squirting up at the top. That'll dry off once I get the car warmed up, and if it's not, then I know it's the housing gasket. But it's a lot to it, more than I've got, because I don't actually have the right housing gasket, and I'm just gonna roll with it, see how it goes. And because it's not only this, it's literally all the way down here, and I just noticed this when I was pulling it off, or trying to pull it off, and I was like, no, that's not gonna work. Because I don't have that gasket. If I pull that off, then it's a lot more than what I intended to do. I thought it was just this piece that I was gonna have to take off, but it is way more than that. So I'm not doing that. We're just gonna get this off, get all this old gasket off, and hopefully I'll have the water pump installed soon. All right, so I got my new water pump right here. Oddly enough, it's the same water pump that I just pulled off. It's just a different, it's the same brand. This is the old water pump. You can see all the old gasket. The gaskets are just old on this one, and it was old on the divider as well. But I got all this cleaned up. Got all the old gasket off of that. About to put the new gasket back on this divider. I'm gonna put it on gasket on this side. The gasket's got to separate in between this one and this one, so we're gonna start on putting our gasket on this, and then we're gonna place that on top, and then we're gonna, and it goes, this will be connected to the water pump like so, not the other way around. Of course it would not fit. And then this will go back onto the motor once we get this put on. It's gonna be fun. All right, guys, as you can tell, new shirt, new day. Yeah. Anyway, I got the car fixed. I put the new water pump on. It's turning. Put a new belt on. I got one dry rotted belt, so I'm out of belts for the car. And right now I'm just driving it. I want to see if it's going to push water through the water pump. Earlier I put it on idle and it was cool, but I still saw water sitting up on top of the intake. I dried it off. It didn't seem like it was making any more water than there, but it was still pulling up a little bit. So what I'm gonna do since it's been sitting for a day, I should have put this seatbelt on a long time ago. I'm definitely gonna need a new battery, even though I just bought a battery for it when I first got it. But I just think the car has so much done to it that the battery, a normal battery, a Econocraft, sorry, the angle's messed up. Oh my Jesus. Alright, so it's running just fine now. I'm gonna see if it pulls up. I'll drive it down to this gas station and turn around. And hopefully the water cooler temperature stays good while everything's on. I was drying off the bottom of the intake. It was fine. It had a little water pulled up. I don't know if it was just old stuff because it was still standing there from last night. I took a towel, wiped it off, tried to dry it as much as I can. It pulled a little bit, but it didn't act like it was pulling anymore from when we I had the car running. So I don't think the water pump's leaking. I'm still worried about the housing because I didn't change it out because I don't have all the parts. So I was like, you know what? Change the water pump, put the new gasket on, see if it pulls up, see if it fixes it. If it does, great. If not, then I know what I got to do to get it done. But temperature is staying at a brisk, let's see if I got it, 180 some degrees. And at idle, that's the, at running cruising speed, that's the coolest this car has ever stayed. I haven't romped down on it. I might give it one good pull and see if it goes over 190. If it doesn't, then I think my cooling issue's fixed, just in a new battery, and maybe even that starter, because but I replaced I took the starter off, put a new one on, but I pulled the starter down and put it back on because I was trying to replace another starter, and it seems like it was fine. It cranks good. As long as the car is cool, it cranks good. So my thought process is I'm just gonna have to get a bigger battery that will push enough current and not die down when the car is warm, because it does not like to crank this car when it's warm. And I don't know if that's just the starter getting hot. So it's one of the two. I'm just gonna go ahead and buy a really nice starter, upgraded starter. And see where it goes from there. This car does not like to deal. Oh shit! The damn that sound was the glove box opening, which it does time to time. I can't even get it right now because I'm strapped down to the seat. But the temperature is staying at a nice 190, even under a pull. So I think that's all the pulling I'm gonna do. And what I'll do is I'll get back to the house, get back on over to the house, and check the intake manifold and see how well see if it's pulled and leaking or anything. If it isn't, then I know I fixed my issue. Bolts are staying at 14, so that means I know that my alternator belt with that dry rotted belt on it hasn't fell off yet or broken. Everything's looking good right now. I'm really happy to see that with under that pull and stress that temperature staying at 190 though. That's what I'm looking for. over 190, but it's staying within the parameters of what it needs to be at. So oh, I'm smelling something. Oh, you know what? I think it might be a little bit of rubber. So I found exactly what I was looking for. That this right in here would stay dry. It warmed up enough to evaporate the water that was. God dang it, that scared the shit out of me. It evaporated the water that was sitting there, and it's perfect. So that's exactly what it was. It was a water pump gasket. It could have been the whole water pump as well, but good. I'm happy, and that's what it needed. So we'll be racing here soon, and definitely keep looking at the channel. If you like what you see, subscribe. Hit that like button. It's always good to hit the like button. Puts my videos ahead for everybody, and you'll have a good time. This should be a good racing season. All right, guys. Thank y'all, and be safe.